Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Andrew Berlinberg of the Berlinberg Properties team at Keller Williams Realty Professionals based out of Portland, Oregon. Andrew is one of Metro Portland's top realtors. Since 2004, he and his team have achieved over $186 million in career sales. He has consistently achieved Diamond Platinum level membership in the Master Circle, which is the highest level. He has been recognized as a Portland Monthly 5-star real estate agent every year since the award first started in 2011, based upon survey results of past clients, peers, and industry experts. Before real estate, Andrew earned a Harvard MBA and gained 16 years experience in marketing, negotiation, financial analysis, and project management at both Fortune 500 and startup technology companies. He has been interviewed about the real estate market a number of times in the past year by the local news media. All right, with all that said, Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Keith. I'm happy to be here.
And Andrew, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I guess a combination. I've always loved houses and negotiating. And that said, I never expected to become a realtor. I used to work in technology. After the dot-com and tech meltdown in the early 2000s, I made the transition as a way to stay here in the great city of Portland, Oregon.
And do you think you could talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Sure. Most important, I vowed to put my clients' interests before my own. For sellers, it'd be much easier for me to convince my clients to accept a full-price offer rather than work the phones all weekend to generate a higher-price second offer that usually comes in at the last minute. For buyers, it'd be easier not to tell them about a great house that popped up on a Saturday morning while they're in the middle of negotiating on another house that may not be as good a fit for them. Related to that is hard work. Many realtors get into the business for lifestyle reasons, and I've always treated it as a job. I'm either in the office or out on appointments from 8 in the morning until 6 at night, every Monday through Friday. And then I work additional hours in the evenings and weekends for appointments or when I need to catch up. And then my ability to analyze data has helped me tremendously in pricing properties. And my ability to negotiate has benefited all my clients, both buyers and sellers.
And do you think you give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Absolutely. I'm usually able to negotiate initial offers up substantially. Most recently, we had an offer that was $9,000 below the asking price. Another agent had interested clients, and in talking to me, I let her think that her buyers needed to be $5,000 over the asking price. When the promised offer didn't materialize later that night, because her clients, it turned out, didn't want to pay above asking, I encouraged her to have them submit an offer at the asking price. Because of a credit, they ended up submitting an offer that was about $5,000 below asking. I then went back to the first realtor, told him his clients were now competing against a second offer. They came back with an offer that was $10,500 higher than where they were before, which my clients accepted. My best example this year was selling a house listed for $325,000 for $391,000. By following this approach, this year my listings have sold for over 103% of the asking price on average. And by being able to set prices correctly, my listings also sell quickly. So far this year, my listings have sold in 17 days on average, and half have sold in less than 6 days.
Excellent. And Andrew, I think whenever somebody builds a successful business or a career, that sometimes the path to get there is filled with bumps in the road along the way. Can you talk about some of the adversities and trials that you've had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Sure. The biggest challenge for me as far as becoming a realtor has always been balancing the demands of the job with family life. We joke about how it's a flexible job, and flexible means you're working whenever your clients need you, whether it's evenings, weekends, and so forth. In the beginning, when it was just me, my family life suffered as a result. And thankfully, my wife was very patient, and now having a team, I'm able to have a little bit more balance. But it still can become an issue.
And I guess, as obstacles come up for you, what keeps you going despite these obstacles? Why don't you give up what your driving force?
I've always loved the appreciation of satisfied clients and the results that I'm able to achieve for them. It's always been very rewarding. Whether that's getting them a great price for a house they're buying or selling, minimizing the amount of repairs they need to do and spend, or helping them win against other offers to get the house they want if it's a buyer. We do an evaluation at the end of every purchase or sale, and reading the comments is very rewarding for me.
And looking forward, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
I'd like to continue growing the number of people we help each year, but in a way that allows us to continue providing excellent service and great results to each client. We continue to add people to the team each year to ensure we maintain the high service levels that we want. Currently, there's 5 of us on the team, and we're about to bring on a 6th for next year.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so that you can have continual growth?
I stay in touch consistently with my past clients and the sphere of people I know. So once a month, we send a postcard, old school postcard, and 2 times a month, we send an email report on the real estate market. I call on the anniversary of every purchase or sale. And every year I have a client thank you party at my house where I invite everyone we have ever helped or anyone who's ever recommended someone to me that we've helped, going back to my very first client over 12 years ago.
And I think whenever the general public looks at real estate agents, I don't think sometimes they understand the value they provide from both a buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
Well, I think you're absolutely right about the lack of perception with some people of the value we bring. A lot of people think they can save money by doing it themselves or by hiring the lowest cost agent. And for those who are not represented, the ones that decide to go out on their own, the lack of exposure in any market, whether it's a weak market or an extremely strong one, is going to result in a much lower price, which is usually much greater than any so-called savings they may see on the real estate commission. And then not being familiar with the repair negotiation process and making uninformed decisions here can easily cost a seller additional money or cause a sale to fall apart, further impacting the ultimate price they're going to realize. And then for those who hire an agent but pick a lower cost one, there's typically a reason they charge less. Those agents are not very good negotiators. Rather than sell for 103% of asking price, which is what I've achieved for my clients so far this year, their average is typically several percentage points lower, and their poor negotiating skills will result in the seller having to take on a lot more in repairs and the associated costs.
And let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state and they want to sell their home. And now, obviously, with your experience in being part of Keller Williams, you have a vast network of agents. You could easily look up and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
No, absolutely. I mean, if we're not using someone in the network, ideally, they can get a recommendation from a local friend or neighbor who had a great experience with a realtor. And if not, they should interview 3 agents who have successful track records. Look for agents that can provide references and testimonials from recent clients. And make sure that the agent they hire presents a thorough pricing analysis. And don't pick the agent based on the price they tell you they can get for the house. A good agent will be honest and upfront, and a weak agent may promise an unrealistically high price, which after several wasted months of trying for and not realizing doesn't materialize. And avoid agents who say they have a buyer for the house. Most do not, and even if they do, you want an agent looking out for you and your interests, not for their buyer. I always tell my clients, and this is the absolute truth, that they will get the best price possible by exposing their house as broadly as possible to the entire market, which is not selling to a buyer that I know or one of my office mates knows.
And Andrew, obviously based out of the Portland, Oregon area, and if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Perfect. They can go to my website, which is berlinbergproperties.com. That's B as in boy, E-R-L-I-N, B as in boy, E-R-G, properties.com. Or they can call me. Phone number is 503-780-5625.
Excellent. Well, Andrew, obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Andrew, like you said, you can go to his site. Also below this interview, we'll have a link to his site and any other contact information we have so you can see how he can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.